right, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here as usual. Good morning, wherever you are. Um, I hope you are having a great day. Um, yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and I am glad to be speaking to you right from where I am. I bring you greetings from my wonderful wife, Esther. And whoa. Who do we have here? Who do we have here? Hi, George. How are you doing, man? Rugaraka. Yeah, hello there. Who is here again? Kisitu, Roni. How are you? How are you doing? It's a pleasure to be having you here live on the platform. Yeah, I'm glad to be meeting you today. Today I'll be talking about some still on the same topic. Actually, we began this topic, um, if I'm not mistaken, for about 3 or 4 months now, and it has been really interesting, and we don't seem to stop. All right, but let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Today I'll be talking on life is a competition. Aha, you're saying, okay, are you sure of what you're saying, Sam? I thought you said before that life is a journey, not a competition. Well, here we go. Life is a journey and not a competition, actually. But you see, people think life is a competition. And when I try to sit back and reflect on this matter, I came to the understanding that, okay, I understand where they are coming from. And I want to be speaking right from where they are coming from. Hi, Paul. Brother Paul, how are you doing, sir? I really appreciate your work that you are doing. Um, if there is anything we could do to support, to encourage you, we will. God bless you, brother. Brother Paul, I'm sure you must have known my viewer. You must have known Brother Paul. He also joins us here on the platform, and we usually have a good time together. Actually, he's doing a great job. So he's not only a filmmaker; he's also into charities as well. If you go on his page, you see that he's doing is bringing donations to a motherless baby's home, and if you can, wherever you are, try to support him. Let's put hands together. Let's do some practical work out there, and I believe that it will be of great blessing to you. Yeah, hi there, Kasekende Patrick. Thank you for joining us. Okay. All right, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Today, we were talking about life is a competition. So we are going to explore this topic. Okay? Now, let us first look at what a competition is. All right? I went into the dictionary to find out what a competition is, and I found out, and it actually cleared my doubts. Okay? I think it's a bit dark here. Let me put some light to make it more bright. I think it's much better this way. Okay, so I came to the understanding from the dictionary that a competition is the activity or condition of striving to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others. So, number one thing is that a competition is an activity. All right? An activity, and the purpose for that activity is to win. It is to gain. It is to win. It is to win something by defeating or establishing superiority over others. Now, I want you to underline this area, these things. Where I've emphasized. Okay, I emphasized activity. I emphasized defeat or defeating. I emphasized establishing superiority over others. Okay, the next definition is a competition is an event or contest in which people take part in order to establish superiority or supremacy in a particular area. So when I sit back and I reflected on this, I came to the understanding that I think people are missing it. People are missing the idea of competition. All right? And you see, now competition has its own benefits. We all know that. You know, like it helps us to strive towards being the best, helps us to discover our strengths and weaknesses. It helps us to discover our talents and helps us also to produce better and quality results. Yes. Okay. But as good as competition is, most people understand it wrongly. They tend to define it the same way the dictionary puts it. All right? We tend to compete with people only to gain supremacy over them. Please underline that. The reason why people compete is because they want to be above others. Okay? They want to gain that supremacy over other people. All right? So that is something that is worrying. All right? That is something that is worrying. Okay? They want to gain supremacy over other people. They want to be other people's bosses. They want to command their respect. They want to win their applause. You know, they want to become famous. They want to become the shining star, as it were. And what happens to those who they are competing with? They want them to lose. They want them to cringe in fear. They want them to hide under their beds and cower in and swallow their pride. They want them to submit to their own better personality, all right, or to their leadership, as some people will define it. Now, whatever way we look at it, this is the usual trend. And right now, competition has become a norm. Everywhere we go. Now, George is asking a question. Do they sometimes compete to be over their weaknesses, over their earthly inclinations? Let me get that. Do they sometimes compete to be over their weaknesses? To be over their weaknesses? Well. I think I understand where George is going, but I do want to quickly give you the answer here. But by the end of this broadcast, the question will be answered. Okay? Because if I answer that question now, then I'll not be able to do the establishment of the whole drama I'm supposed to play right now. Okay? All right. Now, there is this quote by this American scientist called Bruce Lipton. Okay? He says, there is a theory that says that life is based on a competition and the struggle and the fight for survival. And it's interesting because when we look at the fractal character of evolution, it's totally different. He says evolution is based on cooperation among the elements in the geometry and not competition. Okay? This is what a scientist who studies, nature, who studies the different, how things work, he comes to the conclusion that even evolution is not about competition. Rather, it's a cooperation. It's a cooperation. Okay? Now, what are the ways at which we are made to compete by the society? Because competition is what we see in society. Okay? And how does the society make us to compete? Let's go back to Africa, for example. And I don't want to make Africa a stereotype, actually, because what is available, what is seen in Africa is also in different parts of the world. For example, I once lived in Georgia. Georgia is in Eastern Europe, and I see the same thing as well, in Georgia, okay? By God's grace, I'm where I am now. I see also the same trend as well. But I want to speak more to Africa because I want, I want to effect a change that can last, that can bring about a transformation in our society, because society shouldn't change us, rather we should change society. Now, in the society, there is this popularized idea of making it. Okay? Now, there is no problem in anyone trying to succeed in life, all right? But such success that is inspired by unhealthy competition, please underline, unhealthy competition is questionable, all right? And a reverse of the real order of nature, okay? If you go by the conclusion of the scientists I mentioned earlier, all right, it is a reverse of the real order, okay? Now, in many parts of Africa, just as in many parts of the world, because someone is driving a car, other people who see them also want to drive their own cars, all right? Now, because a friend has built his mansion, you as a person also want to build yours, okay? Now, there's no, as I said earlier, there is no problem in you doing all these good things because they are good things, okay? But now, when you try to fulfill such desires, either by hook or crook, then, and not letting your hard work speak for itself, okay, then there is a problem. Then the so-called competition, has become unhealthy. Okay. Now you see, so many people just want to show off their wealth or fame in front of friends and families. They want to show the work that they are doing, for example, only to gain fame or, to gain, respect from people. Okay. Some even brag about it, provoking others to do all sort of things just to get the same or more. All right. Then they go into these different kind of schemes, just because, of course, to get this kind of things done, they need the funds, they need the money. Okay. So they also want to do all sort of things just to get this money in order to do the same things that their friends are doing. So if it is to travel abroad, you want to travel abroad, all right? And to travel abroad, of course, you need to get visas, you know. You need to, for those who, for countries that need visas, you need to get visas. You need to, and you need to apply for those things. And, they have to get through some agencies who are not actually agencies, who are crooks. You know what I'm saying? They are crooks in disguise, okay? And eventually these agencies swindle them, or push them into some countries that, are not really doing well. And they become, when they get to these places, they become paupers, they become dejected, they become lost, right? And unfortunately, some people even die. Unfortunately, some people even die. Now, there is this story of a colleague who became a dear brother to me. This person I want to talk about, he's late now. We were colleagues in Nigeria. All right. Now we were doing drama together. We were acting on stage together, and I had this drama troupe, okay, and he was one of the instruments, one of the major guys in my, and he used to be very, very passionate about what we were doing. But of course, when time came for me to travel, I had to travel. Now, suddenly, on one occasion, I was just on Facebook one day, and he just wrote me this message. Brother, I need help. I said, what's going on? He told me that he found himself in Libya. That he doesn't have money. He doesn't, he's trying to hide from the police and this and that. Oh my God. See, what on earth happened to you? Why are you in Libya in the first place? If the place is too difficult for you, go back home. But he couldn't go back home because in the first place, he got there illegally. He was smuggled into the country. He doesn't even have a passport to get into that country. What are people doing on earth? For God's sake. What are people doing on earth for God's sake? At that time, I was still studying. We were still studying, and it was very difficult for me to lend a hand of help to him. But of course, that is what that was what happened. I couldn't help him, but I told him that I will see what I can do, but I'm not promising. Okay. The following week, if you know it, oh my God. The following week, all I saw on Facebook was rest in peace. His obituary. I just could not understand. What happened? He was trying to run away from the police in Libya, and the police gunned him down. They shot him. All right? And I know him when it comes to, I know some of his weaknesses, because we work together, and it was so disheartening. It was so disheartening. Okay, now why did I bring this story? Competition. If I look at it in a way, I'll say he wants to make it in life. Yes, that's good. But a competition that your own brother drives you into is not healthy, because it was his brother that showed him that route to go to Libya. His own blood brother. Okay? And because, of course, he also wants to do well, all right? And he wants to be like his brother, who has done it before and who wants to lead him to do it, that seems like a competition. And that's not healthy, of course. That's not healthy. What are the ways that society, for example, makes us to compete with each other? The mayhem, the decadence, the troubles that we find in our present day society, the lack, the poor economy, the limited resources, the limited opportunities, the undue privileges given to people who are not qualified, they make us all to compete with the available resources. Okay, these are just the natural trends that we see in the society. I think my wife is trying to answer George. She says, I think Georgie was wondering whether people also compete in doing good or in overcoming weaknesses. Yes. I was going to answer that. I was going to answer it actually, but I didn't want to just give you the answer immediately. Okay. Of course. But I will get there very soon. Now, how about our families? Of course, we all came from one kind of family or the other, right? Now, parents usually want the best for their children. Parents usually want to see that their children are doing good. All right? Now, there is a push to motivate children to succeed, but many parents do it wrongly, giving their children the wrong impression, which eventually sets them against their brothers or their sisters. All right? Now, when parents are raising their children, some of them say some words, some provocative words to their children, like, can't you see your brother or can't you see your sister? Can't you see how they are doing good, how they are doing well, how they are putting much effort in their studies, and things like that. Now, as well-meaning, as well-intentioned as they seem to be, the way their children will understand it will be different. Their children will not see what they are trying to say, but they will be thinking that they are equating them to their brothers or to their sisters. Now, if you go into this kind of experience is what is it is what is available, what is seen. Okay, this is what happens. Okay, for example, if you read the Bible, for those who read the Bible, if you read the Bible, you will see the case between Cain and Abel. It's a practical example, right? Both of them decided to bring offerings to God. Okay? Now, one of them brought an offering, to God. That is Abel. Abel brought, an animal, okay? His own first fruits to God, okay? Cain also brought his own first fruit as well. But the problem was the kind of offering that Cain brought was not good. Okay, it was not in a good portion, was not, as it should be, as it were, to God, giving a gift to God. All right. So God rebuked him and said, you should have learned from your brother. See what your brother has done, Abel. He did a better job than you. Now, God had a good intention. God tried to correct him. God tried to make him see what is good. But he understood it differently. Okay? And that led to anger against his brother. You see, he was not understanding God's perspective. He was seeing it from a different perspective. All right? And somebody that did not even, he ought not to be angry with, he became angry with the person. And that anger led him to killing his brother. The same thing happens in families today. The same thing happens to parents today. As well-meaningful as parents are, when they are dealing with children, they need to be very, very careful. They need to be very, very careful. Now, I need to say this, that whatever way they deal with children read meanings differently. So we have to understand the minds of children and then deal with them based on that idea. Okay, so let's not put unnecessary pressure, unnecessary hatred between children. All right, brothers and sisters. Okay, because this, they grow up with this kind of feeling, this kind of misunderstanding, this kind of hatred, or this kind of, disagreement they will have with each other. Sometimes, not even up to when they grow up, even when they grow old in age, when they become, very old, they are still angry with each other because of the past. Because of the past. Now, the parents have just said what they have said, okay? All right? And, some families, some parents just want their children to compete, to build up that competitive spirit in them, to strive to become better. But you see, you don't do it in the right way, because it doesn't happen. If you agree with what I'm saying, please make your comments. All right. I personally have experienced this. Okay, I've experienced this in life. Okay, I've been told that, why don't you do well the same way your brothers or your sisters are doing well, and things like that. And you see, I wouldn't understand it that way at all. I'll be angry with those guys. I'll be angry with my brothers and sisters, really. Okay, but later on, thank God for God. Thank God for God. Okay, today I don't have that kind of anger, and in fact, I hate it to compete with people, because competition, doesn't really bring out the best in me. Okay, competition, if I compete with others, I'm not making sense at all. Rather, I dream it, I try to become it. I dream what I want to dream about, and I try to become it. Okay. So let's see what people are saying. Let's see. Esther is saying, in a family, some parents, through their actions or words, can indirectly make their children to compete among themselves to be favorite. Yes, this is unhealthy, breeds anger and bitterness. Yes. So one thing we should point out here is, parents should not show favoritism. Parents should not show that even if they like a child above the other because of one thing or the other, they should not show it. They should not show it to where the other ones are. Okay, they should try to teach, to reach out to each other as being equal. Okay, try to reach out to them, sorry, as being, as that all of them are equal, all of them are equally loved. All right, so if they do one to Peter, they have to do something, they have to do the same to Paul as well. Now, when it comes to giving rewards for for their jobs, of course, you may not be able to do that. You have to give reward to show them that if you do well, you get a good reward. All right, you can do that as well, but you should not show favoritism. All right, and even when it comes to things that you want to do, for example, I've heard several parents say that in our family, we are always scientists, we are always lawyers, we are always doctors. What do you want to do being a dramatist? What do you want to do being a nurse? What do you want to do, studying catering, But meanwhile, we have to understand that every individual is unique. Every child is unique. If a child comes up and says that this is what he wants to do, why don't you inquire well and see how it matches with their skills, with their natural abilities, and then give them some encouragement and say, okay, well, go ahead for it. Why should we run other people's races? Why should we be passionate about what our fathers or our great grandfathers have done? Why should we put our feet in their own shoes as well? Why should we continue their trend? Why can't we stand out and be unique and also be successful at the same time? Okay, so it is really unhealthy to be engaged in such kind of competition, unhealthy competitions. Sister June is replying to Esther. She said, yeah, parents need to understand that their children are different with different passions and accept them for who they are. Yeah, that's like what we are saying. Thanks, Sister June. God bless. Now, what then is the real competition? In life, we seem to always be competing and losing focus. We are losing focus of the real competition. And let me tell you this, that the real competition is who we are. We ought not to be competing with people. We ought not to be looking at how we can have supremacy over other people. Rather, we should be working on how to overcome ourselves. How to overcome ourselves. Because you see, we tend to compete with other people only usually to show off, to have supremacy, right? Some of us are even, because of this problem of trying to compete, and so, because several people, they miss it along the way. They want to really go after what their parents have said, okay, and they're not making a headway. All right, they are always losing, okay. Because of this problem, some of us, after being away from home, after we have left home, we've gone to be the man or be the woman that we ought to be. We don't actually, want to go back home because we are not the success that our parents really want. We are not this success that our family primarily have set. Okay, some of us, for example, when there is what's it called, school reunion, your friends, they want to say, okay, let's do a school reunion. We have gone out of secondary school, out of the university. Let's come back together after lots of years. Let's just come and enjoy ourselves together and reflect back on. Some of us don't want to go to such school reunions because what we boasted that we would become in life, we are not anywhere there yet. Competition. Some of us at work or in a leadership role among other leaders cannot just be ourselves. Rather, we tend to show off we are also doing well in our own small corner. All our lives, we are only burdened by trying to be what we are expected to be, instead of focusing on the real competition. That is, to be who we are really created to be. The real competition we are talking about is not with them. It's not with people. It's not having supremacy over people. Rather, the real competition is us. The real competition is with our hidden man, with our inner man, our souls, our real personality. The real competition is with who we know that we are. The one that nobody else knows except God. That is the real competition. Now, there is this South Korean musician who said this. He said the biggest competition is myself. I am not looking to follow others or pull them down. Rather, I am planning to test my own boundaries. That's worth thinking about. I am planning to test my own boundaries. And that is the real competition. The real competition is fulfilling your purpose, my brothers and sisters. The real competition is your mission here on earth. The real competition is running the race of life and actualizing the dreams that you have primarily. The dreams that primarily connects people to becoming who they ought to become. The dream to putting smiles on people's faces, or making the world a better place. That is the real competition. That is the real competition. The real competition is to show that other people can also become who God has created them to be, the very best of themselves. Those people who are hawking, those people who are living below, standard. The real competition is to show them that they can actually be leaders. They can actually be the best. they ought not to be paupers. Rather, they can actually become the very best that God has created them to be. All right? That is the real competition. That is the real competition. Now, this American statesman called Colin Powell, he said, the healthiest competition occurs when average people win by putting above average efforts. The healthiest competition occurs when average people win by putting above average efforts. All right. And that is a real competition. When you and I, try to strive to become the best that God has made us, has designed in the first place, designed us in the first place to be, that is a real competition. The real competition we're talking about is pursuing our personal goals. The goals that we have written down, that we close those books or we put the paper somewhere and we're not able to achieve it. The real competition is we going to those goals, looking at it and begin to work on it and see how we can make it a reality. The real competition is overcoming our challenges, our personal challenges. Our personal challenges. The real competition is we turning our weaknesses to strengths. That's a competition. That's the real competition. The real competition is we conquering our fears. The real competition is we discovering who we are. We living above our average mentality. That's a competition. The real competition is we pulling down the mindset of societal pressures and we saying no to some things. No to unhealthy living, no to negative thinking, no to unhealthy friendships, and yes to discipline, yes to training, yes to hard work, yes to mentoring, yes to saving and investing, yes to living a life of values, yes to building a value system, yes to putting into operation this value system in different areas of our lives. That is the real competition. And that is what life really is all about. And this is the kind of competition that is acceptable. This is the kind of competition that we can agree to. This is the kind of competition that we can allow the crowd to cheer us on. Because of course in a competition, if you go to, for example, there is a football match. If there is a boxing, bout, you will see people coming around to watch. So there are people are actually watching in live. People are watching us. They are either the haystayers or the naysayers. Some people are there just to either cheer us or to pull us down. Okay. Now the real competition, that we're talking about is where the people will cheer us based on we trying to be the best that God has designed us to be. That is the kind of even cheering that is acceptable. All right. Now, I'm talking about sports. American athlete Simone Biles says, a successful competition for me is always going out there and putting 100% into whatever I am doing. I am not always winning. People, I think, mistake that competition is just winning. No, sometimes it could be, but for me, it's hitting the best sets I can. It's gaining confidence. It's having a good time and having fun. Life is not about competition, as some people have said. Life is a journey to compete with ourselves and become better than we were yesterday, some hours ago, some moments ago. So the real competition we are talking about is accepting the fact that we are not anybody else, but we are who we are. The real competition we are talking about is accepting the fact that, for example, you are a man, and though you have feelings of a woman, does not make you a woman, because your makeup physically and in every other way you look at it is a man. Your feelings should not determine who you are. I'd like to say that again, please. Your feelings should not determine who you are. Who you are is a combination of so many things put together. So don't live your life based on feelings, because feelings comes and goes. Live your life based on values. Live your life based on clear, justified reasoning. The real competition we're talking about is accepting the fact that you all your life have been pressured to be somebody else instead to be who you are, a complete creation of the Most High God. Now, why are these points that I'm mentioning, why are they the real competition? They're the real competition because we must know who we are. We must understand ourselves. We must understand our nature. We must understand our temperaments. We must understand why we think the way we think. We must know our intelligence. We must know our limits, how far we can go. We must know how far we can push ourselves. We must know our boundaries. We must have a full mastery of ourselves. We must know our uniqueness and know the purpose of such uniqueness. If you are handsome, if you are beautiful, for example, you must know the reason why you are handsome, the reason why you are beautiful, for example. Okay? If you are making it today and you have money in your pocket, or you have some billions in your account, you must know the reason why you have the billions in your account, and what the money should be used for. All right? You must know the value of people as well. The reason why we, over time, have been getting things wrong is because we just lack understanding. We just lack understanding. Life is not a competition. But if it is to compete with ourselves to overcome our weaknesses and become better, then I would say life is a competition. Okay? So, let us stop fighting unnecessary battles. Let us stop fighting, being who we ought not to be, or trying to belong where we ought not to belong. Let nobody equate you with other people. Let nobody stir up or gender strife in you. Let nobody push you to do what you ought not to do. Rather, focus your strengths on who God has designed you to be. Focus on being the best that you can be. Analyze yourself. See who you are. And then say, okay, well, this is who I am. This is how weak I am. This is how strong I am. Let me see how I can strike a balance. I can put things in order. I can fix this area of my life. How I can, I am not supposed to be having supremacy over anybody. I even hate the idea of someone trying to to compare me with other people. I hate it passionately because I shouldn't be doing that. It's a waste of time. When I have my whole life to actualize what I'm being sent here to do. This is the way people should be thinking. So if somebody told you that life is a competition, just walk away from the person. Or if you have the guts, tell them, if it's a competition for me to become better, I accept it. But I'm not going to become supreme over another person. All right, guys. That's it for today. That's what we're going to talk about today. I hope you learned something nice. You heard something that is worth hearing. Now, what are you going to do with what you have heard? Because it's easy to hear or listen to something. Don't sit there and do nothing. Stand up and do something about yourself. Yeah, let's see, and say hi to some people. Some people are just joining us today. This is Joseph Arocha. Thank you for joining us. You're just coming in now, but you can play back the video after this broadcast. I think it's worth listening to. My wife says we are not supposed to have supremacy over others. That's Esther there, a beautiful queen. Great. Muzakiru is also just joining us. I'll also encourage you to please watch the video from the beginning, and I think it will bless you. Thank you, Sister June, also for joining us. Esther writes here, your feelings should not determine who you are. These come and go. Sister June says, comparing yourself with someone else is a sign of not knowing who you are as a person and what you are capable of. Yes, well said. Yes, well said. Let's see what also we have here. Esther says, the real competition is going back to the drawing board to see how to achieve that goal. Yeah. Living above the average mindset, saying no to wrong decisions, overcoming your fears or weaknesses. Yep. Okay. Hello, Bra Lisasi. Thank you also for joining us. Thank you for watching. It's a pleasure to have you here. I hope it was a blessing to you. Good News Outreach Ministries. I guess that's your name. I mean your organization name, but I welcome you also for joining us today. Thank you for being a part of this. So yeah. Let's see. So yes, Esther says, yes, life is a competition. The right competition about myself. Oh yeah. Solomon Opio, thank you for joining us. I'll encourage you to please go ahead and watch the video once again. I think I mistakenly pressed the wrong button. Okay. So Doris Okundai, thank you for joining us also. Just greeting. Annette Namudu, thank you for joining us. Mwashi Musenge, thank you for joining us. Oh God, I think I'm just pressing the wrong buttons. Okay. Zimula Fik, Wycliffe Oyesie, Rogers Wanyama, thank you all, thank you all. Winnie Namala, Raphael, Raphael said life is a competition, great topic. Okay, all right. Thank you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. And I thank you for always joining us every Saturday. And my wife and I are so glad that you take your time, your 1 hour to watch this. And those who don't have the time, they go back to watch it. We are also always glad when you leave your comments and you ask questions. So George, I hope I have asked your question now. Answer your question now. So yeah, I'm so glad that we have done this, and so we are coming to the end of the live broadcast. So next week my wife will be here, and of course, as usual, it's going to be mind blowing. Thank you, and bye for now.